Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Cron. I'm here with Design for Learning. It's a part of our AI Basics for Leaders Toolkit. This is session 4, Leaders Using AI. And I'm going to take us through our session today with some introductory pieces on AI, how leaders can best use this, how they can match it to essential leadership skills, and most importantly, how they can get started and get better over time, doing simple things to get started, but also doing effective things to continue to move the needle forward. Again, I mentioned my name is Ryan Cron. I'm a superintendent in the great state of Wisconsin. I'm a design consultant. I'm a learner. I'm excited to be here. I've had a chance to coach principals and leaders and curriculum leaders over the last number of years, and really excited to watch those that have taken on change or taken on opportunities and thought to themselves, how can I use tools to be continue to be more efficient so that I can do the most effective things in my job. I'll talk about that statement here in just a minute. We're on session 4, which is leaders using AI. We've covered AI 101. We've covered concerns and challenges. We've also talked about ensuring success, which is our session 3, just last one. And this one's about leaders using AI in your own role. And again, similar to a teacher role, similar to anything, we're going to continue to talk about think about what's the most effective thing you can do as a leader, hone in on that, and allow AI to either support that experience or to create some efficiencies in other places so you can continue to put your energy where your impact is. This session of leaders using AI is going to be 4 parts. Just kind of a need to know, just that reminder of what AI is and framing it for yourself, framing it for your organization, framing it for your community. Thinking about leadership, this idea, again, efficient at being effective. We're going to do a start with why we're doing what we're doing, know when we should use AI tools and learn how, and last but not least, getting started and getting better. Again, I bring this up every time I talk AI because at one point in time, the internet was going to take over the world and was not going to allow students and people to think. But I think over time, over the last 30 plus years, schools and districts have figured it out. And those people that want to put students on a computer to just sit and stare at it and think they would learn, realize quickly that it's really just a tool that when matched with the wrong environment, go the wrong way, and when matched with the right environment, can go the right way because it can be just a tool to enhance the learning experience. So just a reminder on that. Again, all the policies, all the things that you have in place for safety for the internet, it's going to really parallel the same line with AI. The more we learn about AI and the more it evolves, the more we're going to have to be in the game. So this is not a one and done conversation with AI. This is a getting started and getting better conversation. I love this quote. I'm going to use this for you as a leader because you're going to have to constantly battle where AI is going to live. When you think about it and read it, well, the righter we do the wrong thing, the wronger we become. So the bottom line is, therefore, it's better to do the right thing wrong than the wrong thing right. What I mean by that is don't be afraid to dive into this. If it's the right thing to try to create efficiencies for your teachers or to create an enhanced learning experience for students or for yourself as a leader to try some tools, give it a shot and just be willing to learn from the bumps because it'll be, if it's the right thing for greater effectiveness for your school and your organization, don't be afraid to get it wrong in the beginning. I just use these full bullet points every time we talk AI. From us for education, if we can really use this piece to personalize learning, use data analysis, create some administrative efficiencies, and enhance the educational experiences, then I think we're in a spot that we're really seeing the pluses. We don't want to get distracted on all the things it could do. We want to make sure that's helping us do the main thing. A friend of mine once told me the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. In this case with AI, if we know what our main work is as a district, then we can use these tools to hone in. Again, the safety side is always a part of this. Keep this in your brain in terms of where you're at and where you want to go. It's always going to be critical that while we're striving something, we're still mindful of some of the barriers that might exist or some of the concerns. We're going to get into this next piece. I use this goal a lot, and it really parallels well with AI. A few years ago, I mentioned my goal as a leader was to be efficient at being effective. Not effective at being efficient, very different, but efficient at being effective, which means I just wanted to be as effective as possible, and I wanted to find a way to be really efficient at doing this, so it didn't take so long. So if I was going to give feedback to teachers, or if I was going to create a team or a leadership team to do some work to try to get results, we wanted to just really get moving. AI is really one of the same things. When you position AI that way, we get a chance to look at how these tools can really start to shape the learning experience. And what I mean by that is when we look at our goal as a leader and the role and the work that we're going to do, we want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to think about what is effectiveness and try to get as many efficiencies as we can to get in the way. And what's great about AI is many of these tools can do that. We'll get into that in just a second. So when we think of leaders and our goal to be effective, These are from research from Marzano's research, did some work on just sort of 21 leadership responsibilities. They're words that you've seen in terms of communication and being a change agent, having knowledge of curriculum instruction, optimizing, creating order in your school, creating the relationships, situational awareness, even just being resources. When I think about some of these things, being visible, you'll always hear, oh, they're not, people need to be in the building. And I love being visible in terms of across our organization. But in order to do that, you've got to free up some time. And so, for example, if you want to say that one of your key responsibilities is to be visible and be a part of things or to communicate or to really lead change, what you want to do is use the tools to match that. And so think about that. Well, there's a big list here. If you're looking at something along the lines of getting better input from your organization, you can use AI tools to continually survey and review the data from your surveys to make sure that you're not only getting the input, but you're able to process the data or a large amount of data in no time at all. So we're going to think about this in the back of our head is what is our leadership role or responsibility that we're trying to do and that we want to be highly effective with. Can't do them all at once, but picking one or two. And really kind of define effective leadership in your role. You can pause at this moment, but really taking time to define that. Is it just clear communication? Is it about quality feedback? Is it about creating systems in order? Is it about collecting data? Whatever that piece might be, find a couple of these and mark them down. The next step, define a few projects or tasks that you're doing, whether it's an enrollment project for your school or district, whether it's about really honing in on math or student achievement in terms of math data or other pieces like that, whether it's about really training teachers or giving them a chance to really understand their craft and so that would enhance their classroom practices, or whether it's just for yourself in terms of just better trying to find a way to better understand some of your administrative tasks, such as communication, being able to push that forward. Once we have those pieces kind of defined in terms of what does effective leadership look like and defining some of those in your role and some key tasks, this is where we start to do what I call the match game with some of the AI tools. It's just like a cell phone, and I'd like to use that analogy a lot, but if you like your phone, AI is a tool. So we've taken the time for app matches a specific task, for example, GPS and travel. In this case, you want to do the same thing. You want to find out what task you're trying to do, what function you have in front of you, and so what's that best design to do that. The idea here is to really match that piece. So just calling our phone is like saying AI. What we want to do is figure out which tool which has AI specifics match a goal that we want. So you have your list. Mention just to throw some things out. It might be key projects, might be some data, it might be some engagement, it might be some meetings or whatever it would be. Think about your list from that lens, and think about every function has an optimal design. And what I mean by that is if the primary function of one of your roles is to communicate, there's got to be a great design for that. Is it about communication to the broader community? Is it about communication with students? Is it about communication with teachers? Is it about communication with alumni? There are so many tools with AI for communication that can create some efficiencies in communication, as well as interactive communication models that allow for feedback and then that data to be sort of organized quickly into, and where you can input the data, really organize it and get some themes. It's one thing to have one-way communication, but when you can start to use AI tools for two-way communication, to share feedback and to be responsive, it's great. So thinking back to your task list and thinking about what you want, is it about engagement? Is it about meetings or professional development? So many of these tools can help design and organize not only professional development experiences for learning, but some really interactive ones, some that can become gamified, like we talked about in the past, some that can become really accountability driven and performance driven. So really think about matching that piece. So again, here we are. It looks like a little equation, but we want to be clear as a leader to take our task and be mindful of what's the work that we want to do. I've seen some people start with an AI tool and say, hey, that AI tool is really great. It's going to help me with this. But it wasn't one of their primary roles, or it wasn't one of their things that would have the most impact. What we want to do is think of your tasks first. What are you trying to do? Is there an AI tool out there that was going to help you do that in terms of, again, communicating, looking at data, better reaching personalized instruction for professional development, doing classroom visits, things like that. And then look at your role. So combining those three, to me, really should lead to this effective leadership. So you have your task at hand, you find some AI tools that are going to help with some efficiencies. Think about how that might open you up to do some of the leadership role that you want and ultimately be more effective. And some of the work that I'm currently doing, community outreach is really important, or that visibility, or getting a chance to have face-to-face meetings for dialogue. In doing so, we've used a lot of AI tools to start to think about how we do outreach efforts to get communication, how we use AI tools to gather input and feedback from that, and how we offer a variety of sessions. But what it really is designed to do has allowed myself in that role to be a real present and a leader, to be public, to be face-to-face, to have more conversations, to have more open forums for staff, and to do more pieces. We're doing the same with a budget piece, really looking at our budget and realizing our budgeting processes. We wanted to have greater impact from our classroom and from our community. There's a lot of AI tools that are going to allow for helping people understand not just budgeting practices 101, which would be professional development, so we use that, but also some AI tools to help break down some of the data where our costs have been and some of the timelines around those costs, so we can better predict when the needs are coming our way. And again, the idea here was, in the end, wanting to be more effective with our budgeting practices, but finding those tools that helped us along the way to sort through some of the data and some of our spending in terms of our budget piece. These are some just tasks, and I've seen just do it even with simple Chat GPT, which many of you probably heard of. These are just some examples for being efficient. Weekly schedules, daily attendance, key points from staff and board meetings for the night before. Doing a breakdown of just even some key points in the notes from the night before's board meeting allows for better distribution and follow-up. Other tasks and projects, you can streamline some of those administrative tasks in terms of generating ideas for parent engagement across the school year. Or this one, growth and training. Many of us leaders are putting together times for staff development and training. This gets a chance, create a sample presentation for middle school teachers on behavior management. That does not mean that it's going to fit your school, but taking the time to get a presentation 80% correct, and then taking time with your team to put the 20% of your touch on it is one of the best areas for efficiency in your roles. You can get the project started, but when you as a leader help to make it yours, sitting alongside teachers, sitting alongside parents, sitting alongside students, sitting alongside board members, you really get a chance to get the efficient stuff out of the way and be efficient at getting it started, but you can be effective in listening, getting input, and customizing these experiences. And that's a critical piece in this. Again, just for decision makings, help analyze student interest, also be able to look at some other areas for effectiveness is underway. Last but not least is just sort of when we started. No matter what we do in this work, I think we have to continue to ask what's working, what needs work, and what's our next work. As a leader, going back to that equation, you have tasks at hand that you're trying to do, and you also have effectiveness that you're trying to achieve. What we want to do is try to bridge the gap on those two pieces in terms of what effectiveness are you looking for and what tasks are you currently doing? Does AI provide a solution? Again, that solution might not be doing the work for you, but it might be making some things efficiency as a part of that work. By asking what's working, what needs work, and what's our next work, we put ourselves in a position to get started and get better. What I call simple but systemic. Using a tool like this along the way allows us to keep asking what's working, what needs work, and what's our next work, really be able to push forward on an improvement trajectory. I talked about doing the right thing wrong, and that's really important. Using an AI tool to help break down the data processes that we're currently using for our schools and our spending and sort of categorizing the major themes in those expenditures has really helped us to become aware in that work. The first tools that we use in it weren't that effective. The following ones were, but more importantly, we have gained time since then to be able to have rich dialogue at board meetings and committee meetings to be able to put that piece in place. So again, these tools are designed for this. As a leader, what is your next work? What's the work you're trying to do? And what are the benefits to moving forward to that work? What are the barriers to moving forward to that work? And what you want to do is, in terms of helping you move forward, how can AI help create greater efficiency for you and greater effectiveness in the long term? Don't forget this piece. I've shown this in every slide. This is the story of the cell phone, something we're all too familiar with in terms of just understanding function and design and how apps grow. But eventually, in the end, we started matching apps that we download for a specific function. As a leader, think about that same task that you have in front of you today. Take the time to look at how AI tools can support that specific task so that and be clear about the effectiveness that you're seeking at the end. If it's just to get it done, that's one thing. And I know we're all trying to save time, but it's to get it done to allow you to be more effective with time, with people, or with results. That's the best use of the AI tools in front of us. Thanks for taking time to be here today. I added some resources at the end. Digging into some of the history, the science, the news, and staying current on AI will be one of the best decisions I think you'll make over the next 5 years as this work comes not only into this world, but really has the opportunity to enhance the learning experience for students, for staff, and for leaders. Thanks for joining us here today on our AI Leaders Toolkit series. I'm Ryan Crone. Have a great day.